Greetings and salutations, this is Felicat and welcome to Beacon Pines the demo version. Game's not out yet. It was described as a cross between Winnie the Pooh and Twin Peaks, so naturally I was intrigued in how to play. Plus the graphics look really cute and it seems like it's an adventure style story. Use this space bar.
Dear reader, allow me to introduce you to my book. Though it might at first appear like many books you've come across, it is far from ordinary. You may, therefore, have some misunderstandings about its nature. The story that awaits you has not been fully told. In fact, its conclusion is not yet known, even to myself. It is in that way that my book is special. It is in that way that you are special. Without you, there is no story. Chapter 1. Normal isn't what it used to be.
Well, it's already beautiful, I can tell you that right now.
This is a story about change. Nestled in a shallow valley is the town of Beacon Pines. Far from the town square, across the river, past the neglected welcome sign, a young boy walks alone at dawn. His name is Luca Van Horn, and like you, dear reader, he's here for a reason.
Hey Dad, how are things going? Today's the first day of summer vacation. I start middle school next year, I guess. I was 6 years old when you died. And it's been 60 years now. From here on out, you'll have been gone longer than you were here. Aww. It feels like that should mean something. Mom always said that this tree was your favorite spot in the world. Me too. Hey, Luca! I knew I'd find you here.
Rollo was Luca's closest friend. He possessed many fine qualities, but subtlety was not one of them.
Well, after I banged on your door till your gran answered, and after I checked the pond, and climbed up to the treehouse, then I knew I'd find you here.
Rollo finally noticed the tears welling in his friend's eyes, and the flowers on the grave.
Oh, yeah, right. You and your mom always did this on your dad's birthday. Yeah. I don't know if you were going to keep doing it. I didn't know if you were going to keep doing it now that your mom's gone, too. Oh my god, this poor kid. She's not gone. She's just missing. Sorry, I meant to say since she went missing. She's gonna come back, Rollo. Of course she is. Okay, Dad. See you next time. I think I'm ready to get out of here. Sure, lead the way. Oh, this is beautiful. They're so cute. That was so cute. What is this? There's no...
Wonderful! I had a good feeling about you from the moment you opened my book.
Thanks.
That charm is a very special thing. Very special indeed.
Okay.
Keep hold of it for now. Its
Gotcha.
purpose will reveal itself soon enough.
Alrighty. That's really cool. It's very pretty. Also, I can relate, dude. Same page club. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The whole reason I was looking for you. I was wondering if you'd ever get to that. I found the perfect way to start our summer. How's that?
Rollo looked to the side suspiciously.
Not here. They might be watching. They who? Shh, not so loud. We need to do this in a secure location. Mission control. Alright, I just have to tell Gran and then we can head out. What are you gonna tell her? I don't know, I'll think of something. If it's all the same to you, I'll meet you at the welcome sign. Your Gran still kind of wigs me out. I don't do well with new people. She moved in like half a year ago. Just meet me at the sign when you're done. Suit yourself, I won't be long. So cute. This guy's adorable. Oh, okay.
Dear reader, forgive me for this interlude. Remember that charm you found in the dandelion patch? There are more of those special charms to discover throughout Beacon Pines.
Well, I figured as much, yes.
They've been known to reveal themselves to those who are willing. Some of them can be found in this very house.
Yeah, I had a funny feeling that was going to be the case. You didn't really need to tell me that, but I appreciate the heads up. Controls are a bit wonky. I prefer click mouse controls, but that's just me.
Since Gran had moved in, the house was more peaceful, more orderly, and more covered in flowery fabric.
Cute.
One of his father's old stethoscopes.
Oh, okay.
Luca had spent countless hours listening to anything and everything with it. Not for years, though.
Aww. So cute.
Gran had already lit the fire. She kept a warm house, as if by grandmotherly obligation.
Cute. Alrighty, I suppose we should go find Gran. I didn't have grandparents growing up. I kind of knew my grandma on my dad's side, sorry, a little bit when I was very young. She had already pretty much gone senile by the time I was able to meet her, though. I don't remember very much about her. Dad's dad died before I was born. My mother's mom died when she was a teenager. I never knew her father or her stepmother, but from what I understand, that was for the better anyway.
Just some dusty knickknacks.
Oof, something has gone wrong in there. Well, close it. What are you, born in a barn? Oh, the space is jumped. Got it.
A pair of dull scissors, a broken can opener, a mostly empty bottle of glue, and some loose string. The only piece of furniture Gran had brought when she moved in was an old hutch.
Apparently, I had telekinetic powers. Good to know.
Oh my, this is quite exciting. I am now certain that you are the one I've been waiting for all these years.
Okay, then.
You'll recall I was a bit coy regarding the use of charms earlier. Excuse me, I tend to have a flair for the dramatic. You are about to encounter your first turning point. There are certain times in this tale when everything hinges on a single word. You can use the various charms you've collected to alter events, and thus completely rewrite the fate of Beacon Pines.
Oh, okay, cool.
This is no small thing. So step forth, dear reader, and grasp hold of destiny itself.
You are dramatic.
A beginner's guide to gardening laid open on the bench.
Cool. Oh, it's Grandma. Hey, Grant, I'm gonna go. For Pete's sake, go change out of your pajamas before you say another word. But nothing. Inside clothes are for inside. And outside clothes are for outside.
Lucas stared at his feet and muttered under his breath.
Mom always let me wear my pajamas in the garden. Well, Eleanor isn't here, is she? Now go upstairs, change, and then we'll talk.
Right, of course. I forgot about the pajamas.
I probably could have gone upstairs first, but I chose not to do that. I didn't realize he was wearing pajamas, or I probably would have.
Luca paused at his parents' bedroom door. He just wasn't ready to go in yet.
Understood.
Gran had commandeered the upstairs closet when she moved in. Some things need shelter from a young boy's mischief, she said.
Cute! Okay. Understood. This must be my room. Yep.
Luca tossed on his favorite old sweater. Even though it was the first day of summer, a chill still hung in the air.
That can happen. That's cute.
Gran's bed was undisturbed.
Oh, got it. She didn't sleep in it? Or she
Luca
made
didn't
it?
mind that she had a habit of falling asleep in front of the fireplace. It meant that he could read late into the night.
Ah. Yes, that is a wonderful thing to do.
Gran's moving in meant that most of Luca's things had been crammed in the corner. Luca was somewhat annoyed by the situation.
I would be too. After all, this was his space. It can be hard to share that when you're not accustomed to it. Alright, Gran, I'm all dressed and ready to go now. Okay, I'm gonna go hang with Rollo for the day. See you later. Hold up now. Where are you and Rollo headed exactly? Oh, nowhere special.
The less Gran knew, the better for everyone involved.
We're just gonna go... Oh! Oh! Okay. We're just gonna go chill for the day.
We were just gonna go chill for the day.
I see how that works now. We were just gonna go chill for the day.
The best lies are built on truth.
You boys are always in a hurry to do nothing. We stick to what we're good at. Well, make sure you're done chilling in time for supper.
Easy. Impressive. You've managed to navigate your first turning point without too much of a mess. That is the power of charms. A simple word can change the course of history. I think it's time to introduce you to the Chronicle.
Oh?
The Chronicle is a record of the decisions you've made.
Oh.
You can see the turning point, which has been revealed.
Yeah.
At any time, you can use the Chronicle to go back and invoke different charms, creating new branches.
Oh, that is awesome.
This conversation with Gran seems innocent enough. The perfect opportunity to experiment with rewriting things.
We're just gonna go ponder for the day.
Ponder for the day.
just gonna go ponder for the day. Oh, really? What are you always going to ponder on such a lovely day exactly?
This was Luca's chance to sell his alibi.
You know, big stuff. Small stuff. Medium. Mostly medium pondering.
Nailed it.
Well, make sure you don't overburden yourself with a preponderance of pondering. Huh? Oh, forget it. Off with you now. That is really cool, actually. I'm into that. So I'm hoping that in the full game that means lots of save files so I can go back and try different things at different times. I'm already in love with this game. I plan on buying this, just an FYI. I don't know when I'll be able to, but I definitely want this game. This is beautiful and lots of fun already. Come on, come on! Dang it, Rolo.
Chapter 2. Welcome to Beacon Pines. For many years, this valley had been a small mining outpost. It wasn't until Sharper Valentine built his fertilizer company that Beacon Pines was established. Over the next 30 years, the town had grown and prospered until the foul harvest and his sudden death. In the 3 years since, everyone was simply trying to get by.
What? What the heck is a foul harvest? Don't jump very high, do I?
For a town that saw few visitors, the welcome was perhaps more grand than necessary.
Rolo went that away. You know the drill. Don't let anyone discover our secret path.
After Luca's father had passed, Rolo became obsessed with them building their own Hank atomic star scraper. It was some time before Luca realized it was Rolo's way of keeping him occupied.
Sounds like he's a good friend. Okay, what's this top secret plan to start our summer? So you know the abandoned warehouse by my place? The old Valentine building? Yeah, well, it isn't abandoned. What makes you think that? Get this. Last night, it was glowing. Glowing? Are you sure? Kinda. That place has been empty since before the fall harvest. Yeah. Who would even want to poke around that place? We would, Rolo. We would. Wait. It's just a busted old warehouse. I just meant we could do some research at the library. You want to actually go to the warehouse? What do you expect to find? Answers. My mom's out there somewhere. And it seems like everyone wants to pretend that she's gone for good. You don't have to come, Rolo, if you don't want to. Luca, remember that time I sort of accidentally burned down the chicken coop? And you jumped in and said it was your fault before my paw throttled me? This is a flaming chicken coop sort of deal. I've got your back. Thanks, Rolo. Now that I think about it, poking around in a decrepit fertilizer warehouse is exactly how I want to spend the first day of summer. Let's go! In a minute. Already got that one. I'm gonna do one more, one more thing before I take off here. I want to step outside. I can't. Well, fine then. I guess I'll go. Where did he go? Oh, you know I got splashed around that pond. I was hoping to get a charm, but I guess I didn't. Guess there isn't one there. This place is really pretty. Seriously, where did he go? Oh, there he is. Hey, Mr. Kerr. Hey there, pal.
William Kerr was the CEO of Perennial Harvest Company. He had become a fixture around town over the past few years. After the failing of Valentine fertilizer, the town was hungry to welcome a new source of employment.
Oh, I bet they were. Excited for the big festival? Oh, sure. Come on now, when I was your age, there was nothing more exciting than a town festival. The food, the music, the dancing. Sounds pretty alright. You're gosh dang right it is. I've been so busy these days. I'm looking forward to letting off some steam myself. Make sure to invite all of your little friends. I couldn't keep Rolo away if I tried. Excellent! First rate. Sorry, Luca, I've got to get back to the proverbial grindstone. Our harvest awaits and all that. I look forward to seeing you at the festival, pal. I'll do my best. So cute. That's Rolo's dad, isn't it? Oh no, the left side's a little low. Sorry, young Mr. Van Horn, I can't talk now. Very busy with preparations.
Mayor Augustus Valentine was not busy.
Oh, sorry, Gus. How many times do I... It's Mayor Valen...
Flustered, Gus instinctively loosened his tie.
Keep up the good work. I must briefly attend to a concerned citizen. It's nothing. Keep at it. Alright, what can the mayor of Beacon Pines do for you today? Oh, just saying hi, I guess. Well, good day to you too, young Mr. Van Horn. Off you go, then. He could have been really nasty there, but he wasn't, so I'm glad to see that. I want to help. Whoopsie daisy. Can't talk to the guy on the ladder. Makes sense. It won't let me play in this water. Oh, somebody's sleeping. Hey, Mr. Sinclair.
Mr. Sinclair continued snoring and lifted one eyelid just enough to see who it was, a tactic he often used to avoid undesirable conversation.
Yoo-hoo, Mr. Sinclair. Bah, don't you see I'm sleeping, boy? How's the napping today? Crummy as always. Used to have a perfectly nice view from here. Till Perennial Harvest put that monstrosity of a building in the way. Why don't you just move your chair a bit? Why should I be the one that moves? If it's a showdown they want, I ain't gonna be the one who blinks. Yeah. That's a bad attitude to have. Come on, Andy, grab his wallet. I'm sorry, Iggy, I can't. Don't or we pound ya. Yup. Yeah, but my mom said... Yeah, but... If I had a nickel for every yeah, but... I'd be the frickin' king of nickels. Ain't that right, Tish? Yup. So, we found the town hooligans. Mr. Van Horn, do you have a moment? It's just Luca. Golly, I'm sorry, it's my first week of perennial harvest.
They pulled a pen from the pocket of their sweater vest and began to frantically jot something down on a clipboard.
Wonderful. It won't happen again. Alex? Huh? If we are going to be on a first-name basis, then you can call me Alex. Oh, nice to meet you, Alex.
Alex muttered, scribbling more notes.
Sorry, what are you writing? Oh, just documenting. Gosh, it's exciting to be a part of something so darn special. You know, it's not just about new fountains and phone booths. We're gonna change the world. And it all starts here, in Beacon Pines. Isn't that amazing? Uh-huh. Anyway, I'd better get... Oh, that reminds me. We'd love to hear your thoughts. My thoughts? You bet. As Mr. Kerr likes to say, from humble seeds grow noble fruit. And we're gonna change it. And if we're gonna change this town, we need to get every detail right. That sounds intense. Haha. We take that as a compliment. Changing the world is intense. So what do you say? Could you answer a few questions? Well, I guess if it's quick. Wonderful.
Luca could just make out their words over the pen scratching.
Open to answering a few quick questions. One down. See, it's not that hard, is it? Okay, we're going already. Question 2. What is something you love about Beacon Pines? I've never really thought about it before. Perfect. It's the only place I've lived. See, that wasn't so painful.
Alex stopped scribbling and glanced up from the clipboard.
Was it? I guess not. Huzzah! Our first 3 questions answered in record time. Are you literally writing down everything? Thank you so much for your time. I need to process these answers. We can save the rest of your thoughts for later. Okay. Our harvest awaits. Wow, okay. I'm just catching my breath a bit. Go on, I'll catch up. Okay.
Holden Wilder ran the local paper of record, the Beacon Beacon.
Hey, Mr. Wilder. Morning, Luca. What's they have in store for you? I was wondering if you had any news about... News? The Beacon knows the news that needs knowing. Oh my god. Any news about the old fertilizer warehouse? Nope. Oh. Rollo thought I saw some lights there last night. Rollo ought to be careful poking around that part of town. The winds of change are blowing. And change is a dangerous animal. Okay. Hey, Mrs. Nelson. Morning, Luca. Any big plans for the summer? Not really. Heard anything about the old fertilizer warehouse? Any strange happenings? Can't say I have. Either way, a dusty old warehouse is no place for a young boy. You be safe now.
Miss Hatch could often be found near the fountain, too absorbed in a book to be distracted.
The two wandered down the wooded path, unaware of the danger ahead. Uh-oh. Oh! Ooh, this is getting good. Luca, just the fella I was looking for. Hey, Roxy, what's up?
Oh, right. Rendezvous with Roxy. This is an important turning point. The first time where your charms will change the course of fate. And currently, we only have one suitable charm at our disposal. Have no fear, we can always return later using the Chronicle once we find more charms.
That's true.
Well, now I'm just rambling. Where were we?
Have you seen my blockhead brother today? He skipped apple for breakfast. Well, not really, no. Can't say I have. Can't say or won't say. Roxy, would I lie to you? That is absolute face of a lying little... Luca, wait up! I almost forgot to tell you! Roxy might be lurking around here. This is one of her favorite places to stand around to be useless. Rolo. So we need to make sure she doesn't spot us. Rolo. Why are you doing that turning thing with your body? Seriously? What, you're not scared, are you? She's harmless. And a chump. And she's right around that corner, isn't she? Don't mind me, just over here lurking uselessly. Oh! Hey, sis! Nice weather we're having, eh? I couldn't help but notice you snuck out this morning before breakfast. Wasn't hungry. Also, couldn't help but notice your morning chores were left unchored. Roxy, I'm gonna level with you. I'm sick and tired of digging up carrots. We all gotta pick up the slack since it fell harvest. Almost every carrot I dig up is rotten! And the rest look like they were hit with Hank-O-Matic's shrink array. Hank-Atomic, sorry. All the more reason to keep on digging. There's gotta be more to life than puny carrots. Look, Roxy, Luca and I have places to be, so if you don't mind... Oh, I do mind. I'm not gonna catch hell again because of you. So either you march yourself home and harvest those carrots, or I haul you home myself.
Rolo froze as Roxy took a step toward him, cracking her knuckles. Luca knew he had one chance to save his friend from being dragged home.
Okay.
In the past, he found the best way to deal with an enraged Roxy was to be a little chill.
Come on, Roxy, it's the first day of summer. The sun's shining, we just want to take it easy. Let's leave tomorrow's problems for tomorrow. That's great and all, but Rolo's problems have a way of becoming my problems. And Paul always says tomorrow's work is best left for yesterday. March, you big oaf. Aw, rats. I expect a full report about the Valentine place. Full report! Oh. So, Fitz. What are you up to this lovely day? Nope. Cool, cool, cool. Wow! That was harsh. Sharper Valentine, founder of Beacon Pines. Never underestimate what a great man can do given time.
A bit much, if you ask me.
A bit egotistical, if you ask me. Hey, Solomon. Apologies, no time for chit-chat. Looked like a Scottish Terrier.
Jeff's hardware closed down about a year ago. The effects of the foul harvest stretched wide. When there are no crops in the field, tractors don't need fixing.
That's true.
Ms. Novak's bookstore was often closed until after lunch. Rummaging through the dusty piles of books was one of Luca's favorite ways to kill time.
A deer after my own heart. Look at my boy. Hold up a tick. Oh, hey, Mr. Nuncreed. I was just on my way to... I just sold the last jar of your grandmother's preserves. Can't stock the shelves fast enough, turns out. Hey, that's great, but I'm actually... I guess Juniper will just have to swing by with more of her lovely jam. Uh-huh. Well, don't let this old man slow you down. You just remind her that she still owes me that dance.
A promise Gran regretted the second it was made.
Will do. She's a fine woman, that Juniper. Yeah, she's pretty cool, I guess. A real fine woman. Gotta go. Sweeter than any jam on earth. Aw. I hope that doesn't turn out to be creepy.
The phone booth was brand new, part of the town's Beacon Pines Reborn initiative. It didn't see much use.
I can't imagine why it would. Need to quit doing that.
The path led into a small hollow at the edge of Weepwood.
Okay, no turning back now. I meant to go the other way, but that's okay. Caution, electrified fence. Is that sign new?
The fence thrummed with a gentle electric buzz.
Uh-oh. Okay, so what would Rollo do if he was here?
Luca often asked himself what Rollo would do, so that he could rule out that option.
I'm definitely not touching that thing. I don't know how do I do things?
As sparks flew from the fence, the light atop that section shut off. 2 bulbs remained.
Oh, okay. I see. That's 2.
1 more to go.
Well, I can't aim for crap, obviously.
The fence's buzzing gave way to silence.
Okay, moment of truth.
Every kid in town knew the old Valentine Fertilizer building. Long abandoned, the warehouse once served as the industrial heart of Beacon Pines. Now, it stood only as a reminder of things left behind. The dormant building showed strange signs of life.
Okay, so Rollo wasn't exaggerating for once. What's going on here?
There was only one way to find out. The water looked almost diseased. It flowed slowly into the woods.
That's not good.
The hose emitted a subtle sound. It was actively draining some kind of liquid.
Whoa, that smells awful. Too bad Rollo's not here. He had no problem poking around in there. Locked.
Luca thought he heard faint sounds coming from the other side of the door. He pressed his ear against the cold metal to hear better.
A zipper. Footsteps?
The sound of footsteps grew louder.
Uh-oh. Hello? Oh! Shit.
The heavy steel door knocked Luca to the ground. Disoriented, he looked up to see an imposing figure silhouetted in a green glow. It lunged toward him. He tried to scramble away, but felt a gloved hand latch onto his ankle.
Oh no.
Luca watched his fingernails leave trails in the dirt as the hand slowly dragged him back through the door, into the lab, into the green light. This is a story about change. It was far from the sort of change Luca imagined for himself. But change is, after all, a dangerous animal. The end?
Oh, that was awesome!
It's okay. This is no one's fault. I still believe in you. There is a way through this story. We just have to find it. In the past, he found the best way to deal with an enraged Roxy was to be a little shit.
Make a break for it! What have you done? Did that little shit just kick me? Run all you want, you little twerps. You gotta come home eventually. Sorry. Sorry about that. Rolo can get overexcited sometimes.
Solomon Valentine, current ward of and future successor to the Valentine fortune,
Oh.
puffed as he brushed off his pants.
A town of complete and utter fools. One wonders if it's worth taking anything here seriously. Either way, I'm really sorry. No matter, how are you doing? Me? Yes, with all that business about your mother and whatnot. Oh, I'm getting by. Still no word from her at all? No. That is truly a shame. Ah. Your grandmother has taken residence to keep house. Yeah. And how is that going? We mostly stay out of each other's way. You make it sound like she's rarely at home. It's not like that. She just has a lot to do. She's still settling in and trying to figure out how to make ends meet. Indeed. Well, count your blessings. It's better to have a caretaker who is rarely around, in lieu of one who tries to compensate by smothering you with attention. That doesn't sound so bad. Trust me when I say, it's best to rely on yourself. Family has a way of creating more problems than they solve. Who is this figure?
Solomon trifled a gesture toward the approaching heiress Valentine.
Speak of the devil. Do not wander off like that. I'm much too busy looking all over for you. Apologies, heiress. I was just taking a stroll through town. Strolls are for commoners. I want you to be present for the construction of the History Museum. The future of this town relies on its ability to remember our family's great past. Of course. Poor kid.
Ms. Novak's bookstore was often closed, rummaging through the dusty...
I was just curious if there's anything different there. Luca, my boy, hold up a tick. We've had this conversation before. Oh, he skips it this time. Boy's got too much of his father in him. Oh no! I win! A little help. I am the champion! We were racing? Did that road get longer? Like anything around here ever changes. It seemed longer. You're just like headed for the run. You really need to pace yourself better next time. Not sure why I would take advice from second place. Has that sign always been there? Wait, what? Caution, electrified fence. No, that's definitely new. Creepy. How are we gonna get around an electric fence? Don't worry, I've got this. Don't touch it! Oh god. Why did you do that? Pa always said you can figure out what the plan was when you're done. Great, what now? Well, I did my part and established that touching the fence is bad. I'm sure you can handle it from here. I'll supervise. From a safe distance. Yeah, no, I got this. Whoa, you're a genius. Nah, I've just done this already. I think that did it. Luca, you never fail to impress.
As the glowing windows of the old warehouse came into view, Rollo began to bounce excitedly.
Check it out. Dang, Rollo, you weren't exaggerating for once. Was there ever any doubt? This definitely needs investigating. Good thing two ace detectives are on the case. This is bizarre. This is awesome! What was that? Did you feel that? What? The excitement in the air? You bet your butt I did. Check out this puddle. That's not normal. And this hose! Aw, man, the door's locked. Try harder. No dice, it won't budge. I'm tempted to prove you wrong, but I wouldn't want to embarrass you. Oh well. This dumpster is new, right? I bet it's got stuff in it. I can't really see what's in here. Who did all of this? My nose is itching. I think I smell some treasure. Are you sure that isn't hazardous waste? Just help me get in. Rollo, it would be my honor to throw you in the trash. Come on, Lady Luck. Oh, dang. So, what's in there? Let's see. There's a squishy bag of squish. Wow. Hang on, there's more. A good inch of stagnant sludge. Your natural habitat. Wait, hold the phone. Hold two phones. Check these bad boys out. Are those walkie-talkies? Just like Hank Atomic communicators. These actually work? Ground command to Hank Atomic. Hank, do you read me? This is Hank Atomic ground command. You're coming in 5 by 5. How are your vital readouts, Hank? It's getting a little stuffy in here. Requesting assistance for evac. Help is on the way. What was that? Someone's coming. Give me your hand. I'm trying. My hands are covered in squish. Scoot over. I'm coming in. What the what? Tell me you saw that. Dude, I don't know what I saw. He's coming back. Get down. That's a body.
petrified under the weight of the bag.
Okay. I think we should make a break for it. Stay calm, there's no reason to panic. I'm not panicking! You're panicking! Rollo, calm down. You don't have to squeeze my hand so hard. Dude, I am not holding your hand. Quit messing around. What other slime-covered hand would be in here? Oh, no! I'm beginning to see the benefits of your run for our lives plan. Right, we've clearly established that I'm faster than you, so I'll go first. Why not go together? Flaming chicken coop, Luca. I'll make sure the coast is clear. After I go, count to 100. If you hear me yell, run. If you don't hear me yell, run. Actually, either way, haul ass. Rollo. Yeah? I'll give you credit. You've sure found an eventful way to start our summer. It's what I do. Well, here goes nothing.
Lucas sat in the dark, tracking the sound of Rollo's footsteps as he ran. 1, 2, 3. He pressed his ear to the dumpster wall, straining to hear Rollo's footsteps as they faded away. 15, 16, 17. He tried not to think about the contents of the dumpster as he counted. 35, 36, 37. The thick stench made it hard to breathe. Screw it, that's long enough. Luca carefully lifted the lid and peered out. Nothing. No sign of Rollo. No sign of the man in the yellow suit. Time to haul ass. Luca clambered from the dumpster, stumbling to his knees. He was up like a shot and running, sprinting toward home as fast as he could. Beacon Pines flew by, blurred by the tears that welled up in his eyes. He wouldn't remember getting home at all that night. Throwing his front door open, storming up the stairs to his room and surrendering to sleep almost as abruptly as he hit his pillow. Chapter 3. Finding a Friend. The next morning, it was quieter than usual at the breakfast table. Only the sound of silverware and chewing interrupted the awkward silence.
I finished jarring a mess of jam last night. Uh-huh. So that'll need to get delivered into town today. Okay. So, what did you and Rollo get up to yesterday? Oh, nothing interesting. Hello? Calm down. No, of course it was the right thing to do. Start gathering folks, I'll be right there. Are you sure there isn't anything you want to tell me about yesterday? Anything I want to tell you? Not really, we just sort of ran around a bit.
Gran's brow furrowed.
Uh-oh.
She let out a long sigh. Her voice was quiet and even.
I have to go take care of something. You are to stay in this house for the day. Under no circumstances are you to leave. What? If I am not back by dinner, there's stew in the icebox. But nothing. You are to stay here, understand? Yeah. Say it. I'll stay here till you get back. Good.
Luca stood in silent shock. Where could she even be going?
Well, that was strange. Oh, man. So am I gonna be stuck here or am I gonna sneak out? This cabin is adorable, by the way. It's so cute.
A faint
in here.
electronic sound floated in the air.
Oh! The walkie! Is that coming from upstairs? Hello? Is anyone there? That's Morse code. Hello? Rollo, is that you? Over? What the Hello Kitty was that? I believe that was SOS. Oh, hey, Roxy. If this is about me, accidentally kicking you yesterday, is Rollo here? No? Look at me, Luca. This is serious. Is Rollo here? No, I haven't seen him since yesterday. Rollo didn't come home last night. What?
A pit formed in Luca's stomach.
Where was the last place you saw him? We were playing around in Weepwood, and then it was late, and we went home. Weepwood? If he's alive, I'm going to kill that little creep. Is there anything else? Anything he said?
Luca's mouth felt dry.
No, we were just messing around. Okay. I need to go let people know to check the woods. If you can think of anything else that might help, let me know.
Luca could feel his heart beating in his throat.
Rollo. I've got to go find him. I guess we're leaving the house. This demo was a lot longer than I thought it would be. Not here, okay. Thought I would check, because you never know. We really need to get back to work. Just a couple more minutes. If Roxy said she will be here, then she will be here. I just don't see why I'm standing around, doing nothing, and waiting for Roxy, when I could be standing around, doing nothing, and getting paid for it. Come on, Lumi, Roxy needs our help. My parents wouldn't listen. No offense, but isn't Rollo always getting into trouble? Something feels different this time. What can we do to help? We need to check where the adults aren't. So I guess it's up to us to check Weepwood. Our shift doesn't end for another couple of hours. We could spend the time making posters. That would be great. I guess. Right. Fitz and I will check Weepwood. We'll be back later to pick up the posters. I think my dad has a map of Weepwood. Let's swing by my house and grab it before we head out. That map sure would be useful. What sort of monster puts candy behind a locked door? Oh, Mr. Nuncreed works weird hours sometimes. Of course he does. How about you? When do I work? No, what's your name? Luca Van Horn. You new here? Yep, not by choice.
Beck's family moved often, giving her little time to establish any real connections.
I'm looking for my friend Rollo. He didn't come home last night. So he's missing? I guess so. Like missing. Does that sort of thing happen a lot around here?
Luca shifted his feet uncomfortably.
Well, that sucks. Yeah. So I should probably get going. Hey, wait up. What? I'm coming with you. What? This is the first interesting thing that has happened since I got here. Besides, you look like you could use some help. The name's Beck. Pleasure to meet you, Beck. I suppose I could use some help. Try to keep up. Dang, they boarded up the way in.
Luca felt a chill as he approached Beck. Her eyes were locked on the strange green liquid. The nearby grass was coated in a fine layer of frost.
Is this sort of thing normal around here? Because puddles of glowing ooze are definitely not what I expected from this place. I have no idea what this stuff is. Well, the next obvious step is science. And what does science suggest? Poke it with a stick!
Luca watched as Beck dipped a broken tree branch into the goo. Beck's eyes widened as flowers grew from the dead wood. First small buds, which quickly bloomed into vibrant petals.
Whoa. What the? Cool.
As quickly as they had grown, the flowers began to shrivel and turn gray. Beck dropped the stick with a grunt of disgust.
Okay. So the science tells us this gunk is weird as hell. Yeah, it seems dangerous. Hey, Tish, up with a cat dragged in. Yep. I don't have time for this right now, Iggy. Oh, I don't say things like that. It hurts Tish's feelings. Ain't that right, Tish? Yep. She looks fine to me. Well, why, hello. I don't think we've been properly introduced. Iggy's the name. This is my compatriot, Tish. Yep. You've probably heard of us. Can't say I have. I'll forgive you just this once, on account of you being new around here. Why would you hang out with this dud? Okay, oh, he seems pretty alright. Iggy, why do you have to be so... you? Has he even told you that his parents skipped out on him? Shut up. It's true, they got tired of having such a pathetic kid and left him. Iggy, I'm only gonna say this one time. Don't talk about my family. Ha ha ha, well look who's grown up backbound now that a girl's around. First his pops croaked. Then his mom finally couldn't take it anymore and bounced. Oh, I hate this kid.
Iggy took a step towards Luca, his sneer lit by the glowing puddle. Beck could see tears welling in Luca's eyes, his fists clenched. Some things about Beacon Pines were very different from the city, but a bully from a hayseed town is really no different from a city bully. Beck took a deep breath and thought.
I don't know how this would go over. I'm curious though. I want to weird this creep out though.
Well, time to bust out the strange.
Alright, Luca. Looks like you need a little mud bath. What's wrong with you, new kid? We're about to pound your friend.
Beck stared in silence, the only sign of life being the twitch of an eye.
It's weird when people don't talk. Yep. Stop being a weirdo! Hello? Are you some kind of wackadoo? Makes sense, wackadoos travel in packs, eh, Dud?
At the sight of Iggy taunting Beck, something in Luca snapped. Iggy's smirk shifted to a look of shock as Luca launched himself into his stomach.
Oh no!
Iggy's clothes were drenched in the glowing ooze.
You jerk, my clothes are ruined. I'm gonna...
Iggy's voice began to slur
no!
as he struggled to get up.
I don't feel so good. Haha! I'm sorry, I just... Oh, shit. Yup. Oh, no.
I'm afraid that's the end of this part of the demo, but that doesn't mean there isn't more to discover. Remember, each new charm you found has special power. Just look to the Chronicle. And don't forget to wishlist and follow to find more cool stuff. Most importantly, if you enjoyed the demo, please tell your friends.
That was awesome. And I am absolutely going to be purchasing the full game as soon as it's available. This is fantastic. Superb, beautifully well done. I love everything about this. Super excited to play the full version of it. I can't say anything else about it except please check this out. Support the developer. This is a fantastic game already. And the demo was very generous, which I appreciate deeply. Yes, please go check this out. That's it for me. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you later.